Well, it's just about 2 minutes after the top of the hour, so let's go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. My name is John Drummond. I'm an applications engineer with Chint Power Systems America. I want to thank you for joining the webinar. I'll be your host and presenter today, and I'll be sharing the CPS FlexOM and Performance Packages product suite. This is a truly modernized approach to remote inverter services. We're excited about this FlexOM product offering, and after I take you through the presentation, we'll hope you see some of the many benefits that the FlexOM has to offer. Just a bit of housekeeping before we get started. All attendees are muted and in listen-only mode. Like many of us that are social distancing and working remotely during this pandemic, you've probably become a Zoom expert by now. Yet I do want to make you aware of a Zoom interface taskbar likely docked at the bottom of your screen. Please use the Q&A option to enter any questions you might have during the presentation. And I'll be sure and leave time at the end to go over and review anything and give answers where and when I can. I'm joined by a couple of my CPS colleagues that will be manning the Q&A throughout the presentation. And we'll be using the chat function to provide links and useful information. So go ahead and enter any question you may have into that Q&A section as we go through it. Today's webinar is being recorded and will be shared with everyone following the presentation. Again, I'm John Drummond, Applications Engineer with Chint Power Systems America. I'm based out of the Pleasanton, California office here in the San Francisco Bay Area. My role with CPS includes addressing technical questions related to CPS products, ensuring optimized compliant designs and installations, as well as providing technical training for CPS string inverter products like the one we're sharing today. So our agenda for today is how to reduce O&M costs and downtime. So this can be a big headache for asset owners, O&M service providers, and the like. We know that these activities like inverter maintenance can often take too long, involve too many people. There can be costly truck rolls to the site, extensive man hours, high service costs, scheduling, and other pain points. These might be many of the things you're currently dealing with, whether you know it or not. We'll look at the remote O&M solutions that CPS offers. We'll showcase the full scope of the CPS innovations around modernized approach to inverter service by using the remote service and remote diagnostics, and introduce you to the O&M solutions we call the FlexOM and FlexOM PP product suite. Lastly, we'll look at a case study for a 7.2 megawatt site in Florida that had issues around operation stability and voltage flicker, and how that was overcome quickly and efficiently using the FlexOM to remedy the situation. And then, as I mentioned, we'll wrap up things with the Q&A session at the end. Before I get into that, I'd like to give you a brief intro to who we are at CPS America. Chint Power Systems America, or CPS, is a worldwide inverter manufacturer. Here in North America, we're focused on three-phase string markets in the commercial, industrial, and small utility scale. We have a market-leading #1 share position in those markets since 2012, and we've shipped over 4 gigawatts of three-phase inverters into the US. Chint Power Systems is just a small division of a larger, diverse energy company called Chint Group. Chint Group is a global company, about $9 billion in revenue, publicly traded, and has been in operation for over 30 years. We pride ourselves on excellent local service. CPS has technical support staff of roughly 22 application engineers and field service personnel across the US, and 7 sales account managers that are here to support you and your projects. We originally invested in an R&D facility in Texas in 2009 that now serves as both R&D and service operations. We have a Los Angeles area-based logistics distribution center, Bay Area sales and marketing, and of course, team members based around the country to serve our customers. We pride ourselves on service, the front end of sales, and engineering support all the way through logistics, order fulfillment, and service for the life of the product. And we have real humans that answer the phone. Okay, so let's dive into the FlexOM modernized service. One of the key goals when thinking about the launch of the FlexOM product was reducing inverter O&M costs. We know those challenges can include costly truck rolls to a site to have service technicians go out and manually perform inverter setting adjustments, perhaps clear a fault, or even issues on site with diagnosis of the problem. With FlexOM, we aim to reduce or eliminate these headaches and pain points. Our solution is to offer a device that would enable remote control of the inverter, the ability to remotely adjust and set inverter parameters, remotely diagnose and troubleshoot issues quickly and efficiently with minimal cost and effort. Our value proposition was to offer a solution that was beyond just monitoring, with less hardware costs, simpler installation, and yet would also enable remote maintenance activities. CPS FlexOM Solutions offers flexible integration to suit deployment, size, topology, and even budget. We support the customer's desire to self-monitor and control their inverters. The solution enables intelligent site commissioning, regulatory compliance, tuning, and full O&M support. Users can quickly and easily respond to grid code requirements, design change from cloud to each inverter. The FlexOM solution minimizes truck rolls for long-term O&M and increases energy harvest, as well as enables remote configuration changes, fault diagnosis, including intelligent firmware updates and alignment. Let's look at the details of the FlexOM hardware. I want to first start by giving you a bit of history. The CPS Flex Gateway, the forerunner to the FlexOM, was a communications and controls solution for CPS inverters that was introduced in 2017. It was a Modbus master data logger and communications device that enabled and managed traffic for 3 parallel outbound communication options. 1, a local pass-through Modbus RS-45 data to a third-party data logger solution. 2, an Ethernet-based communications for a CPS web-based service portal. And 3, a programmable Ethernet-based connection to a local location chosen by the customer. The CPS service portal at the time was only accessible and used by CPS personnel. Since its original deployment, and with the introduction of the new FlexOM Gateway card this year, we now have more than 1,000 units installed and online across the US. This slide shows the typical Flex system topology as represented by the single line diagram, with the Flex card shown mounted inside the inverter wire box. Up to 32 inverters may be daisy chained together on the Modbus RS-45 network, and the outbound Ethernet port is connected to either a wired or wireless LAN gateway router and accessible by the CPS portal or smartphone or tablet with the Connect Pro app. Here are some further details on the FlexOM Gateway card. As shown in the previous slide, the card is somewhat modular design and may be installed in the inverter wire box or inside a DAS enclosure using the supplied optional metallic DIN rail mount enclosure. It may also be mounted inside the FlexOM PP meter enclosure, but we'll get to that in the next few slides. The card will support up to 32 inverters connected on the Modbus RS-45 and is available with an optional 4G modem integrated on the card when purchased with the performance package. This base FlexOM card without the quote PP or performance package does not include customer access to the FlexOM portal. This slide shows the FlexOM hardware specifications. Again, an RS-45 connection to the inverters and either an Ethernet or 4G cellular connection to the portal. The card does include an programmable sample rate from 1 to 20-minute data, and also includes onboard memory. For some reason the card may be disconnected, you can still access the data. At a 15-minute sample rate, the card can store and hold 30 days of data for up to 32 inverters. The FlexOM card ships as a kit with all the required accessories and mounting hardware. The kit, as shown here, includes the FlexOM card, connectors and mounting hardware, the metallic enclosure, the Wi-Fi dongle for local connectivity via the CPS Connect Pro smartphone app, and an optional 4G cellular modem, the 4G cellular antenna, cable, and antenna mounting bracket. The 4G SIM card and data plan must be purchased separately through CPS and is only available with the FlexOM PP 4G product. The data plans are with AT&T, T-Mobile, and we're currently vetting Verizon as a third option for the cellular providers. Let's look at the FlexOM performance packages. The FlexOM performance packages are essentially the FlexOM gateway card bundled with a 5-year subscription to the CPS customer-facing portal. The FlexOM PP, shown up top, is our Ethernet-based FlexOM card with CPS portal access, and the FlexOM PP 4G at the bottom is our 4G cellular FlexOM card with CPS portal access. There are some additional items in the performance package that I'll identify in the next slide. The FlexOM performance packages includes a 5-year subscription for a customer account for the web portal and data access. You get login credentials and access to the asset portfolio feature. Some of the additional features of the FlexOM portal are configurable monitoring alerts, ability to turn inverters on and off remotely, clear an arc fault remotely, perhaps set active power factor, clear a fault, configure and download site commissioning reports, access a customizable public kiosk that can be used to display production data in the lobby of a building to showcase the PV system. This is done simply by copying and pasting a URL into a browser. No password or login are required to view the URL. The performance package also includes 2 years of data storage, a 0 to 90-day inverter, 100% inverter uptime guarantee, and admin rights for an end user account should one be desired. Building upon the previous FlexOM performance packages, we also offer a revenue grade meter version of the performance package that includes the FlexOM mounted inside the meter enclosure. The 5-year portal access and performance package includes a watt node revenue grade meter and 600 amp CTs. You do have the ability to parallel CTs for larger 40 volt project or sites. The meter is fully integrated with the FlexOM and into the FlexOM portal to achieve revenue grade production reporting. The second option, shown in the lower left, the FlexOM PP meter 4G, simply includes the 4G cellular modem and connectivity along with the previous FlexOM PP meter solution. Now let's get to the FlexOM portal itself. The CPS FlexOM portal is a user-friendly, intuitive, clean interface dashboard for up to 32 inverters per FlexOM gateway card. The site asset view allows for integration of multiple sites on one easy-to-read page. There are no individual inverter data fees. This can often be $50 to $100 per inverter annually from some other providers, yet your subscription rate is based on a per FlexOM gateway fee and not the number of inverters per card. You'll have all the controls you need with layered user management, allowing the CPS customer to limit what their end user or customer can see and do on the portal. Going one level deeper, the FlexOM portal site profile view provides site profile details like asset owner information, site address, type of system installed, a site location map, data summary, including production or generation data, weather information, and a device inverter list with status indicators. The site profile page allows for site or individual inverter diagnosis and charting functions, event notifications, either real-time or a daily dump as specified by the user. You simply enter an email address or a phone number to be contacted, and it will provide you with the information needed. You can also do inverter settings, download a commissioning report, and interrogate and do Modbus Health on separate selectable tabs. As shown, the charting function allows the user to easily identify anomalies or irregularities in the data to diagnose and troubleshoot the inverter performance remotely. The kiosk view is a customizable from the site profile page, allowing the user to configure and select either energy or power generation as a default. You can insert a custom logo or image. The kiosk view also has a 5-minute auto update and includes eco indicators and an income estimator based on a tariff set within the site profile. Now let's look at the additional remote O&M services available from CPS. There are specific functions and services that CPS service personnel can provide as a la carte services to help and assist the site or asset owner. These types of services, of course, are only performed with the written permission of the asset owner and the utility for things like remote site commissioning, coming soon, upgrade firmware, site tuning assistance, inverter setting changes, field site issues and diagnostics, a site health check, and items like utility grade setting changes of power factor and protective settings like grid voltage trip and clearing times or grid frequency trip and clearing times to meet utility requirements. Now, I do want to address what might be the elephant in the room here, cybersecurity. Yes, CPS is an Asia-based company. However, we have several safeguards in place to protect the FlexOM and the FlexOM portal and your assets from falling victim to a cybersecurity attack. First of all, we have a US-based server location. Second, the FlexOM uses a non-open source real-time operating system. This is a much less vulnerable to attack than, say, Linux operating system, where hackers focus on due to its popularity and readily available attack means. Third, the FlexOM authenticates every gateway to server session with a self-generated certificate. The FlexOM also encrypts the user data with a private key generated by an internal developed algorithm. And finally, the FlexOM portal does not have a gateway level default access IP address or login password. Okay, we're nearing the end of our presentation, but I first want to share with you a case study that showcases the use of the FlexOM for remote troubleshooting and system diagnosis. The Bartow site in Florida had low SCR related stability issues. This was basically a soft grid with a 7.2 megawatt AC PV plant consisting of 121 CPS 60 kilowatt inverters grouped in 4 each 1.8 megawatt blocks. The instability was so bad, utility customers were complaining about flickering lights. The solution was a joint effort by an energy consultant, the utility, and the CPS team. The solution was to reroute the utility circuit, which the switches were already in place, to increase the SCR. The FlexOM was a lifesaver because it allowed CPS to configure a site with 121 inverters remotely and monitor the results. The configuration consisted of powering different portions of the array independently, changing parameter settings such as active power limit, power factor, and inverter damping factor. Occasionally, we were uploading firmware patches as needed. And then the remote monitoring, by the way, the FlexOM portal consisted of analyzing the performance data and associating it in time with customer complaint to determine how to predict the onset of the instability and facilitate troubleshooting without negative customer impact. The important parameters were basically actual power factor versus the setting, voltage THD, current THD, and frequency. Even though CPS was able to remedy the issue in about 3 days, you can imagine this would have taken significantly more time to accomplish the troubleshooting phase. Without the ability to instantly change settings across the entire fleet of inverters remotely, and perturb and observe the duty cycle was too long to even be effective. You may miss the observation during the time consumed trying to make the setting change manually. This was a perfect example of the modernized inverter service using the FlexOM. It saved significant time and money and provided for a happy customer and end users. In summary, I want to emphasize the benefits of the FlexOM Gateway Card and the FlexOM Portal. These low-cost hardware and software solutions will help you sleep at night and are the ticket to modernized inverter service, driving costs down, keeping it simple, flexible, and solutions-oriented. Thanks again for joining today, and I'm going to now open up a Q&A session. So I'll go over and see if we have any questions. All right, we've got a couple. What is the smallest size inverter the FlexOM unit can be installed if a customer wants to retrofit their sites? So currently the FlexOM is compatible with our 25, 36, 50, 60, 100, and 125 kilowatt design. The FlexOM itself is also compatible with some of our legacy inverters like our 2328 and our 14 and 20. However, those models are not supported on the FlexOM portal. So to clarify and answer the question, the 25 kilowatt 480 volt string inverter that we currently have is the smallest inverter the FlexOM can be installed.
Thanks, John. We have another question that came in kind of related to that about whether the FlexOM gateway and platform are open for all kinds of inverters. I'm assuming that is asking about non-CPS inverters.
Right, interesting question, yeah. Well, the answer is no. We can integrate other equipment like weather stations and other meters if you're interested in using something else. But this is something that we'd like to keep and use with Chint Power Systems inverters. So I think I should just clarify that answer is not with other manufacturers' inverters, but yes, with other either metering or weather station equipment. As long as it is Modbus SunSpec compatible, it's an easy integration. Someone's asking, what is the approximate cost of the portal access after the 5-year expires? Currently, the plan is to do $1,000 per 5-year extension. So you would purchase the initial plan and subscription based on the performance package that you're buying, and then any extension to the portal access is $1,000 per 5-year, basically $200 a year. I see another one here. Do you have an API? We are currently in development of an app programming interface for our FlexOM. and it's on schedule to be available sometime in Q4 of this year, so just a few months away.
Thanks, John. We've got a couple questions coming in the chat as well. One of them, do you describe remote commissioning a little further?
Yeah, remote commissioning is something that we are in development with right now. It will require a firmware update that we are not yet releasing, but it is in development, as I mentioned. What it enables, or what it entails, is that you can remotely connect to the Flex Gateway and the RS-485 network and auto assign a Modbus ID to each inverter. When the inverters are installed, they're all defaulted to a Modbus address of 1. And as it stands currently, you have to go out and assign a unique Modbus address to each inverter. This new feature will allow an auto assignment of the Modbus IDs. You can specify a range to assign, or a start. If you want to, start your inverter, let's call it number 1 at Modbus ID 22, you can do that. And then once it assigns all the Modbus IDs, it will then go out and find those inverters and populate them on the portal. So you can see them in the site asset view. It's a kind of a next step that we're taking to integrate the some automation with the Flex Gateway into the system. I see a question about the warranty period on the parts. The warranty period on the FlexOM and accessories is 5 years. Here's another one I see. Do I need a Flex Gateway for each inverter? No, you don't. You can network up to 32 inverters per Flex Gateway. You can either have 1 or you can have up to 32. We will support that. Here's another one about RS-485 networks. Can I combine 3 networks into 1 Flex Gateway? This is not advised. This is kind of referred to as a star topology. And in Modbus serial communication, it's not recommended to wire in a, what they call a star fashion. You want a one serial trunk bus of all the inverters or other equipment on the RS-485 network. Anton, were there any other questions that may have come in through the chat rather than the Q&A?
There was one more. It was, can you talk more about the 90% uptime guarantee?
Yeah, so the 0 to 90% uptime guarantee is for inverter installations. When the site is commissioned, we will monitor the inverters for the first 90 days of installation and provide what we call a 100% uptime guarantee with the Flex Gateway installed. So our service team will keep tabs on your system and be sure that there isn't any issues or problems with your inverter startup. and ensure that all your inverters are operating smoothly as you commission and get the site rolling.
Thanks. There's another one on export functions in the portal to allow data to be downloaded.
Yeah, good question. I realize I probably didn't talk to that subject. Yeah, so for the both revenue grade reporting from the meter, as well as the inverter data that you can chart. You can chart both the meter data and you can chart the inverter data. Obviously, the meter data is revenue grade. You can download that data in an Excel format. You can also specify a range for that data so you can match it with your utility bill. We understand those bills don't always start at the first of the month, so you can pick a specified range and download that data and have it available to you.
Great, thanks, John. I think that's all the questions in the chat that I've seen.
Okay. All right. Well, I do want to thank everybody for joining today. I appreciate your time. I know your time is valuable, so thanks again for joining. If you do want to have, I know we didn't have time today to go through a live demonstration, but if you would like to set up a time to see some further detail on the portal itself, where I can navigate through the screens and show you some of the information and accessibility, please feel free to reach out to myself. My contact information is here, john.drummond@chintpower.com. Again, we'll be following up with all the attendees and also the registrants today with a link to the recording for this webinar. And I'll also offer the same thing in the email that goes out that will say, if you'd like to set up a time to get some training, we can certainly do that as well. So please look for that. All right, with that, I think I'll go ahead and close the presentation. Again, thank you for your time today. Be kind, stay safe, and have a great day.